Call this meeting back to order at 7:39 from closed session. Chief, anything to report back?
We have nothing to report.
Okay. Go item number 3, roll call.
Chairman Jeremy Coe,
Present.
Vice Chair John Gish,
Here.
Director Ty Payton, Present. Director Robert Gleason,
Present.
Director Gloriana Rhodes.
Go item number 4, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 5, Declaration of Conflict of Interest. Are you on my left?
None.
None.
Okay, none heard. Item number 6, presentations, none. Item 7, public comment. Are there any letters for public comment?
I have no request, Mr. Chair.
Okay, moving to item number 8. Consent items.
Consent calendar item 8.1, December 21st, 2017, regular board meeting minutes. Item 8.2, monthly register of warrants. Item 8.3, receive and file December 2017 incident and training report. Item 8.4, receive and file monthly year-to-date budget report.
Anything to be pulled, starting on my right?
Nope.
No. Move that we accept the consent calendar.
Motion's been made by Director Gleason, second by Payton. Roll call, please.
Director Rhodes? Yes. Director Gleason?
Yes.
Director Payton? Yes. Vice Chair Gish?
Yes.
Chairman Coe?
Yes. So item number 9, scheduled items. 9.1, approve and authorize the fire chief to sign the automatic aid agreement between LMFD and SCFA.
As the board's aware, we brought this last month, and unfortunately, it got missed in the packets for the automatic aid agreement. We included that in this month's packets, and I hope everybody had a chance to look it over, and I'm going to have Chief Medowski up at the Electron to answer any questions.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Larry Medowski, Administrative Battalion Chief, the LMFD. I've got a presentation for you this evening. It's very similar to what we had in the past.
Does anybody want to hear the presentation, or are we satisfied with the item that's been in our board packets? Unless you feel like you have something to add?
I have one. Can you just go over real quickly the bump up with the battalions?
Sure.
Just so I understand exactly how this is going to flow.
Sure. So the flow for that level of work is essentially if they have a structure fire, that we would also respond with them on that fire. Our battalion chiefs would, and then they would reciprocate that for us as well. Again, adding to that level of service and a greater demand and capacity to meet that demand.
So when they show up, then they'll just take the assignment, or do they have a predetermined assignment of safety or whatever, so that they can be released quickly back in the district?
Yeah, there's no predetermined assignment. We like to leave that based on whatever the demand or the incident calls for within that. But yes, there is an understanding that if they're not needed, that they would be released back to the district on both sides.
So if you get called, if there's a call tonight, and you got the duty, you go over to Tracy, chief fills in here if we have an incident? That's how we're gonna backfill? Or how do we backfill when we need a BC?
So we look at that as a regional system. So the city of Manteca assists us with those roles as well as a phone call that is made an administrative call out for backfill within the organization as
Okay,
well.
so it's gonna be backfilled just like we do in engines? Okay,
Very similar, yes.
okay, that's all I had, Chair.
Just to clarify, is this already being done unofficially? And we're just putting this on paper now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Director Payne? Questions? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a,
move
oh,
that we approve and authorize the fire chief to sign the automatic aid agreement between Lathrop-Manteca and South County Fire Authority.
I second it.
Motion by Director Rhodes, a second by Vice Chair Gish. Roll call, please.
Director Rhodes,
Yes.
Director Gleason,
Yes.
Director Payton. Yes. Vice Chair Gish,
Yes.
Chairman Coe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving to item 9.2, authorize and approve the fire chief to negotiate and enter into contract with WLC Architects Incorporated for Fire Station 31 expansion project. Chief?
I'm going to bring up Chief Jones, Acting Battalion Chief Jones, to do a little presentation on this. But I did want to talk about how we got here with it coming back to this item, another item that's coming back. But so it initially started out as a small expansion just to kind of fit the needs of the expanding. And then that kind of grew into a little larger expansion. And pretty soon we were somewhere outside of the $300,000 range of actual construction costs and material. And that was presented to you a little bit last month, but really unclear and without any kind of clear-cut direction. And we appreciate the board's holding us accountable to making sure that everybody is on the same page with, design process and architectural and purchasing and bids. And so we have really kind of stepped back for just a piece, and we figured that, and again, the comments from the chair, maybe we need to go bigger, and maybe we need to look at different options. And then, we've had, suggestions from Director Payton as far as make it more compatible for gender and diversity and that kind of stuff, and we need to look at that. And so I completely agree. After the board meeting last month, we kind of sat down and put our heads together, and so we came up with the process of hiring the architect to kind of put some stuff down for us. And to step off with that, and he's going to go into it in his presentation, there's a cost for that initial startup and getting them ramped up to that. We did try to bring some kind of design concepts, but there's so many options out there. We wanted to leave the board an opportunity to maybe make some suggestions that we can take to them. And hopefully next month we will bring back some design concepts of where we need to go and move forward with that. So, Chief Jones, if you'll go ahead and give the presentation. I hope that I summarized some of that, how we got here from last month. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief, Director Coe, members of the board, Acting Chief Battalion Chief Jones. We're going to discuss item 9.2, which is related to the fire station expansion at Station 31. So over much deliberation, it's been determined that it's probably in the district's best interest to review other options for Station 31 expansion project. As you're aware, the December 2017 board meeting staff was given approval to move forward with the project with bringing more information back to the board while staying under the $350,000. Due to numerous options that have been discussed by the board members and staff, it was decided to get professional input by architect Bill Louie of WLC Architects Incorporated. Bill was able to come by Fire Station 31 and provided some great insight and ideas. The district has a current service agreement with WLC Architects Incorporated since May 21st, 2015. Bill Louie of WLC Architects has provided us with architect and engineering services for Fire Station 35. Staff is requesting to work with Bill Louie and his team to assist in acquiring a better vision and a plan what can be done with Fire Station 31 to fit the district's growing needs. Staff and architect Bill Louie could present to the board and/or the station design committee with a conceptual plan as an option to move forward. Bill could also separate the expansion into phases and produce estimated timeframes for each. Scope of work, the understanding for the exterior improvements that we're looking at, we would seal the underside of all the roof eave soffits, paint the exterior of the hose tower, and replace both metal double doors and the threshold. We would also paint the exterior of the training tower and replace the emergency backup generator, which is probably as old as that station is, and it's aging. Continuing with some interior improvements and reconfiguring and removing walls as needed to fit the following. The captain's dorm would be retrofitted to sleep 2 personnel with lockers to accommodate such. The crew dorm would be retrofitted to sleep 6 people with lockers as well. We'd also like to enlarge the kitchen for a total of 3 refrigerators for the expanded amount of personnel that are going to that station, have a larger range for cooking opportunities, and a dishwasher and pantry. 2 separate crew restrooms, possibly with a shower in each. One will be ADA compliant as well. And then we would relocate the water heater as needed as well to make some more room in that station. Continuing on with some interior improvements in the apparatus bay areas, we would create a larger fitness area since there's going to be more personnel potentially assigned to that station at any given time. A larger turnout storage room, and install 24 PPE lockers, and also replace the existing storage cabinets that we're using. We would reconfigure it for a combined dining day room. The door access from the dining day room to the outside would be reconfigured. All the popcorn ceiling throughout the interior of the station would be removed. And then we'd also access the mechanical, plumbing, and electrical systems more efficiently. We'd also like to add Plimo vent vehicle exhaust systems in the apparatus bays with 6 back-end style on tracks. Potentially remove or repair the gypboard ceiling in the apparatus bays and paint it black in color. And then we would add a mop service sink in the living area as well for janitorial type cleanup. The design services generally provided are performing a general visit, walk through the station, prepare an existing condition plan utilizing fire department provided drawings and condition notes, prepare a hand sketch of conceptual floor plan and potential new floor plan layout, prepare a scale plan with furnishings following fire department confirmation and of a preferred layout, and then following confirmation of a preferred plan, perform rough order estimates of magnitude cost estimate with contingencies. Having a better idea what the overall project phases and timeframes would allow staff to better estimate the overall budget or individual phase budget, thus being able to determine if a budget of $350,000 for the fire station expansion is sufficient. Staff recommends the board authorize and approve the fire chief to negotiate and enter a contract into WLC Architects Incorporated for the station expansion project at Station 31 for a fixed fee of $4,400 for the items listed. Further services can be acquired at an additional cost, such as formal design, construction documents, bid assistance, and construction administration. And with the fiscal impact, the CIPs will be brought back for review and approval at a later date. Any questions you guys may have regarding this presentation?
Starting on my right.
No, I have no questions. I want to thank you for moving this direction. I see this as the mothership, so, Station 31 is number 1. Thank you.
Dr. Gish?
No question.
I've asked a lot of questions about this. So looking at gutting, and it's like a total remodel. So the whole living quarter side gutted. On the other side where the weight room is and stuff, reconfiguring both rooms where all the equipment is, and so reconfiguring that whole thing.
And the shop.
And the shop. Utilizing the total space. Okay?
We may shrink the shop up a little bit. We do a lot of the oil changes and stuff, so we have to have a decent shop that we can pull into. But we may suck in some of that space there to expand the PPE turnouts and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Here's a question that has been addressed. The
Going up?
ceiling. We're going to redo the ceiling, finally?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna get that cleaned up.
All right, yeah.
We thought initially about pulling it off and doing the exposed ceiling like they do in gyms and that kind of stuff. But with the way it's insulated and stuff, that's not gonna be feasible. So we're leaning towards the cheaper cost of repairing it, redoing it, retexturing it, and painting it.
Okay, and now the tower, where the drying tower, do we still have cotton jacketed?
A little bit. That stuff just lasts forever.
Yes. So we just dress it up, paint it, get it kind of fixed up, but it's going to stay intact. Replace the doors outside.
Yep,
That's on there.
Yeah.
that's on there.
Absolutely.
That's where we had our visitor a couple times. So
Yeah.
we had some homeless that made camp in there.
Okay, sliding doors in the day rooms, gone, right? Okay. Now, what about this kitchen that's like a mobile home kitchen? What kind of kitchen are we looking at? When I say mobile home, I mean, you get two guys in there and that's all you're gonna get in there, and they're
it's
trying
like
to prepare food.
It's like a galley kitchen.
It is.
Kind of. So we're expanding that to an open, we would like to see an open concept. Again, we'd like to get the board with the station committee engaged in this, but we are preferring an open concept so that it's more of open family type setting where you can have potentially an island and then cabinets and sinks and that kind of stuff, and still have interaction with the crews.
Opened up for suggestions from all the guys too, for
Yeah.
all the crews,
Yeah.
because they got to live there.
Right, and we'll go there. I think we want the board to make some comments and stuff, and then the membership did have a couple people that sat on a committee that had suggestions for the station too.
Well, it's about time. It's been a long time,
Yeah,
40 years, so.
we're gonna look at expanding it too, maybe even bumping out a little bit and see what, so we'll have some options of what the cost is and how much, not that that's a complete determining factor, but obviously if it's gonna cost over $1 million just to expand out and, only $500,000 to reconfigure, maybe we need to think about that, so.
Yeah, okay.
We don't
Thank
know
you.
what we don't know right now.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate this presentation. It looks like it was very well put together.
Actually, I do have a question.
Okay.
I think at the last meeting, we talked about one of the reasons we were doing this was so that we can place the new recruits that we'll have.
Right.
Is this work going to be done in time to put the new recruits?
No, so that time frame, we're going to be, we're going to, at Station 4, Chairman Coe had a great point that's set up for two engine companies to be there. They're going to be all woke up at the same time because there's no way to segregate them, but when the alarm goes off and only one has to go, everybody's got to get up and go back. The other one can go back to sleep, but but it will accommodate the two companies there, two captains, 2 engineers, and 2 firefighters. That'll take care of that. It just won't accommodate the battalion. So the battalion will then move. His office will stay there, but his sleeping quarters will go to Station 1. We move the captain out of the captain's office, sleeping quarters there. We house him with the crew in the dorm that has 4 beds for now. And then there'll be 1 crew in there, and then the battalion will be up front. And then, again, they'll probably get all woke up when he gets a call, but that's okay. We've done that for years, so it's happened more than a few times. So we'll accommodate it there, but we still need to expand because as we need to make arrangements for that expansion of the crews and accommodate the diversity that we're going to be bringing here.
And I appreciate your time yesterday. The chief took me on a tour of Station 31 and kind of walked me through it and helped me understand the magnitude of the need. And So I was going to bring this up in board comments, but I'd like to see the existing 2x2 that you and I sit on for Station 35 to expand that to a role of all building improvements. And I'll bring that back up in board comments. But with that, is there a motion for 9.2?
So moved that we adopt 9.2, authorizing the chief to enter in the contract.
Second.
Okay, motion by Director Gleason, second by Payne to approve 9.2 as written.
Need a vote.
Yes, Director Rhodes.
We're voting.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yes.
Director Gleason.
Yes.
Director Payton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Gish.
Yes.
Chairman Coe.
Yes.
I was looking straight at you, too.
Okay, motion's been approved for 9.2. Moving to 9.3, approve and adopt resolution R 2018-01, transfer of funds from Measure C account to the general fund for fiscal year 2017-2018. Chief?
Okay, so I will go through this item. So at the beginning of the 17-18 fiscal year, funds are allocated for the use within the general fund from Measure C fund. Measure C's are funds allocated for the use in the city of Lathrop only. This transfer of $1.3 million is the remainder of the allocation amount to continue with the budgeted annual expenses. Measure C fund balance will be a little over, almost $300,000 after we make the transfer. Staff recommends the Fire Board approve and adopt the resolution 2018-01, transferring of funds from Measure C to the general fund. And a little bit of background is that we normally do this mid-year, but we normally do half of it. Because there's never been enough in the account to transfer the whole amount over. And so as we're going through and we're allocating and we're collecting more Measure C funds, we're actually at a point where we can transfer the whole fund over. So now I don't have to make two transfers. I can make the whole allocation mid-year and put that in our account, and then we don't have to worry about doing it at the end of the year. So I think it's great. We're still going to have money over. So even though there's $290 in there, we still get a check in April, and we still get a check in June. So there's two more allocations, and the last couple have been about $400,000. So we'll be looking pretty good as we go through this, and we're now in the process of having the money before we have to allocate it. So it's working very favorable for us. So we're just asking to go ahead and transfer that over now and get it done.
Okay. Board comments on the left?
No, I think the community at this point is getting used to Measure C and how it's being done. There's been almost no chatter on social media about how it's being spent and stuff, so we're pretty open. Our budgets are pretty out there, so I encourage if there are citizens who want to come and look, you know. So it's, yeah, and every month they can look at the warrants, you know, and see that we're buying gel for the toilets. I mean, you know, so that's all I have.
No comments.
Okay.
No comment.
No? Okay. Staff's recommending board approve and adopt resolution 2018-01. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Payne. Seconded by Rhodes. Roll call.
Director Rhodes.
Yes.
Director Gleason.
Yes.
Director Payton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Gish.
Yes.
Chairman Coe.
Yes.
Thank you.
9.3 approves. Moving on to informational items, 10.1, Chief's report.
Okay, testing applications. Battalion Chief, the testing process has been completed, and we have 3 offers for the position out. We expect them to be confirmed in the next few days. The starting of the full-time battalion positions will be in February. I'll be bringing back next month, at the end of February. I'll be bringing back next month. We do have to make some adjustments to the administrative MOU. So that MOU has acting battalion chiefs in there, but I'm not sure that it has the segregation of exempt versus non-exempt employees. So I need to clean that up to make sure that they're working a 56-hour work week, they have FSLA, and there's overtime, versus an acting, or excuse me, not an acting, but a battalion chief, such as Chief Madowski, who's not, he is exempt, and he works a 40-hour work week. So a couple things to work out through that process. I want to clean that up before we put them on as the full-time positions, and the board approves those changes in the MOU. So I've already spoke to the representatives from the MOU that currently, and that's Chief Madowski and Executive Assistant Becky Areola, and they're willing to reopen that for us to take a look at that and clean that up. So we're going to take care of that next month and bring that back to you. The captain's position, I think we have 3 candidates that are on the list currently. Where that once the battalion chiefs are promoted, that we'll be promoting 3 captains. And they'll be going through their process of probation, just like the battalions will be, and we're looking excited. We're excited about that because now that allows us to retest, and we'll be bringing back the results from the new testing process that come together, and then we can put in some acting captains because we have a station opening up too, and that's going to need captains for that too. So we want to be sure we got that in place. Firefighter position that is completed. We did hire 9 from the grant. The grant their start date is January 29th. We had an extra position that wasn't filled when firefighter Barr left our organization, and now we have another additional position opening, and so we've hired that. So we have 11. I think that's the largest academy we've put on that I'm aware of at Lathrop-Manteca. So that's almost a whole shift. And so we're expanding. We're adding 9 personnel, so we're going from 30 line personnel to 39 line personnel. And so it's exciting times. I think everybody's excited. I hear good things from the feedback from the crews and everything about having personnel there. So it's good. And so great group of cadets next month I will bring them in to meet the board. We also have plans for a badge pinning, and the tentative date is the 17th of February.
Okay.
They should be done with their academy on the 16th. And then I think our board meeting is the 15th. So the Thursday, and then that Saturday, we'll have their badge pinning here. We're going to be breaking up the badge pinnings. We're going to be doing the battalions and the captains at a different time. Probably in March sometime we'll do their badge pinning because with the 11, we usually have it here. You start filling up with family and friends and everything. So we'll have them at 2 different times. While we're going through the academy with the firefighter, we're going to be hiring reserves where we've got a bunch of applications, and I've assigned the training personnel and personnel chief to start looking at applications, getting them processed, getting them in, getting interviews done. But we're going to need, and if I don't come back to request more reserves to put them on staff, but we're probably about 10 to 15 short. So it's time to get a new group in here and get them acclimated to the process and get them through. So we're looking at doing that right away. One thing I do want to add, and Chairman Coe had requested it, and I don't think it would be a problem with anybody, but I want to make sure they're okay with it, is that we start sending out appointment invites through Outlook. So we invite you to any event that we have, because sometimes events happen and they're happening in between the board meeting, and we want to make sure that you guys are aware of them. Of what's transpiring, like the badge pinning and like different events and even closed session, with the board meeting, and it's the closed session. So I'm going to assign to Debbie Smith, the permits clerk, to start notifying the board. She's working on all our packets now and oversight by Becky, that she starts sending out and attaching the events to you so that you guys all get them. So if you don't use Outlook, you can open it up and use Google or Yahoo Calendar or whatever it is, and then it's just a reminder of what's going on. So you guys are aware of badge pinnings. And we had a great point that Chairman Coe made was the annual basketball game for Anthony Sowers. we had that this last weekend, and again, that we didn't get that information in timely manner to you, and Vice Chair Gish made it, and appreciate him being there, but it would have been nice if you guys wanted to attend. So that's kind of the stuff we're trying to close the loop on and get you guys more aware of what's going on in different events. So that'll be happening throughout the informational stuff. So,
Thank you.
and that's all I have. Oh, except a reminder of February 2nd, right?
For
Hockey.
the hockey, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we need tickets or anything? I mean,
Yeah, no, I'll have that admin for you. So the chairperson from the Behind the Fire should be contacting everybody through email, letting them know that the tickets will be available at administration. And then you just go up to the 6th floor and you can walk right into the suites. We got 2 suites.
when you say email, they'll come to our personal ones, correct?
I believe so.
Okay,
I believe so.
Whatever your chosen
yeah.
method of communication is.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that reminder. Item 11, board comments and referrals, starting on my right.
No?
Nope. None? Of course, Bob's gonna have some.
The connections with our farmers in the south part of the district, how are we coming along on working that out with them?
I think we've got a pretty good relationship with even the ones that have the tenders as far as getting connectivity, as far as the adapters and stuff. I think that's all been worked out. But let me get something together for you, and then I'll have an answer for you at the next meeting.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you something I don't know the whole truth to. So let me find out a little more detail.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's all been worked out. We're
And we
set
have
in
the
place.
connections, and we're all set, and
Yep.
and we're not going to get in any fights over territory. And
No,
Okay.
we're not doing that. Yeah, we're not going to do that, and we're not going to. But we don't have a call for them or anything. They kind of just But we'll figure something out. I'll get you more information.
I know that there's not like a lot of things that we can do in regards to trying to bring in female reserves. It reminds me because Daenerys pinned a female last night.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why can't we retain them?
Yeah.
And so,
So that's a great question, and so I'll go ahead and let you know now. We did hire a female full time. We do have a reserve coming back. Shayla. She is coming back from Texas. She left and went to Texas.
Right, okay.
She's coming back, and she's already inquired about becoming a reserve with us again. So we're out there. We got applications going. And we have another one that has applied. I think Debbie Rock's daughter has applied. So we're working towards it. We're getting there. And so
get them into B-Tech, get the,
Yeah.
once we hire one, get them into B-Tech and just pound the
so
pavement.
involved in BTEC. I don't even know where they stop and we start. I mean, we do everything with them. So I'm surprised we don't get more. But this is going to be our first graduating class that we have completely been involved in. I mean, from the beginning to the end. So I think we'll get some. I'm hoping. It's good.
Okay.
It's all good. We're doing good stuff out there.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. I don't have anything further myself, other than the suggestion I made earlier about expanding the role of the 2x2 for not just Station 35, but for all building improvements. If there's any discussion on that, do you?
No, it's an ad hoc, a committee. Do you guys want to do it? Go for it.
You okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So we'll put that together and we'll get you guys. We'll talk with you about some dates and then send you an invite for the date, and then we'll meet with the architect when he has some conceptual plans. And is there anything that the board like to see or that's not going to be on that committee? I would like to see something. Anything?
What do you mean?
So
For the building improvements.
Oh.
Is there something
6
there that?
bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. We should look at this or that, or you guys just like to wait and see what the concepts come back. That's an architect
Yeah,
guy, so
and
I try not to.
because you asked, just as we move forward to do improvements or whatever, some of the, there might be some structural changes or whatever. And what we've seen in the other two stations is that they try to mirror the community, that specific small community they're in. And so just remember that it's historical Lathrop, so anything historical would be nice.
Perfect.
But you guys have done a great job. But I know that that's been something that's been looked at with the other two, is that they mirror kind of everything else that's popping up there.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'll do what the chairman did, make an appointment to hook up with you and just take a walk through Station 31.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds good.
Probably next week.
Yeah.
You know, we got the wood burning stove. It could go. I mean, when was the last time we?
I thought you were going to ask me to keep it. I was going to
No,
go,
no.
You're not going to be happy.
Well,
And then the access to the little patio area, you know, kind of, are we going to keep that? Are we going to get rid of it? How are we going to deal with that? Get rid of those sliding doors. Those things are just hazards.
They're dangerous.
You know, so, yeah, and I think having 2 bathrooms with single stall showers, so, you know, I like that idea. Even though we're gonna have to cut foundation for that, you know, to redo plumbing. And then while we're down there, redo plumbing, as much plumbing as we possibly can. Throw some PEX in there or something, so the water tastes a little
Probably
better.
some old cast iron stuff in there.
Yeah,
It's probably about this big instead of this big.
that's all I've got.
Yeah. Good.
is
No,
it
we'll
going to
do
look like the house next door?
Oh, I know.
Oh, you got the house next, oh, I can say what the heck.
It's it. You live in the
It looks
neighborhood.
really nice, but I mean, it's kind of one of those things that at one point you need to stop improving. Because, I mean, what else are you gonna,
Yeah.
you're gonna come up
agree.
with?
I'm glad you said that. I'd like to see this project, you know, not just fit the need for the next 5 years, but possibly for the next 10 years and so on. So instead of just taking a small little, you know, stay within that same foundation that we're already on, seriously consider, you know, taking on maybe more space where the patio is. So that would be my request of the architect, is to look at those options, to expand the footprint, make it a little bit larger, so you're not trying to cram everything into the same footprint. Because you are adding more personnel. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So more room is not, you know, is not asking, is not out of the question, I guess.
No, I think we need to look at all those angles. So that's something that we need to look at, definitely.
And having the permanent move of the battalion to Station 31, so they're more centrally located for the whole district. I think that's warranted as well, and expanding the footprint would help that goal as well.
Okay. Yep, you got it.
So if there's nothing further, we'll adjourn this meeting till the next regular scheduled meeting on February 15th at 7 p.m. here at City Hall.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you,
I need
board, for
a,
their patience. I appreciate it.
I know, I need a blue pen.
Yep.